So my name is Dan Edwards. I am the soon-to-be, ideally, Assistant Secretary for Aviation and International Affairs at the Department of Transportation. Also Associate Administrator for Airports at FAA. And I want to officially welcome everyone to what is a very momentous day and an occasion, pivotal day in aviation. I'd like to prepare you for a little trip back to the past. Please roll the video.
Designers from Dayton, Ohio changed the world. When their powered flying machine took flight, the Wright brothers unlocked a new frontier of transportation innovation. Through a century of trial and error, mankind conquered the skies, connecting the world and unleashing opportunity. But American innovation is just getting started.
We have a president, we have a DOT that want to see those innovators innovate in America and then export them around the world.
eVTOLs are going to make the airspace far more interesting and far more fun, and we have to be prepared for that and seamlessly implement their involvement in using the NAST. This is time when we don't know how the world is going to change, but it's going to change in the way people and products move, which is exciting.
Thank you for the little trip back to 1903. It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce the 20th Secretary of Transportation, Sean P. Duffy.
Before we came up, Dan said, "You're number what?" I said 20. He said, "So well done, thank you." Hey, it's great to be with everybody. Wonderful crowd, exciting day, and not just exciting because Administrator Bedford is in his second day of testifying on Capitol Hill, but he is, which I know you've all probably watched, it's very exciting. But it's a big day for us. This is a big announcement. But I think we should take a step down memory lane for a moment to recognize what today is. Today is the 122nd anniversary of the Wright brothers' first flight at Kitty Hawk. These were bike mechanics, we all know the story, Dayton, Ohio, and they were trying to answer the question, can man fly? And we didn't know if man could fly. It was a question. And they answered that question 122 years ago today. And it was their innovation, their creativity, how bold they were. They didn't give up. And from what they did 122 years ago has fundamentally changed the world forever. How we move, how products move, radically transformed the way the world works. And as we look at America, Dayton, Ohio, Wright brothers, it's been America who has continued to lead in aviation. Whether it's the first solo transatlantic flight, the first around the world flight, or it's breaking the sound barrier, winning the space race, or the fact that we launched the jet age. It's in America where we innovate in aviation. But now we come to 2025, and I think we all recognize aviation is changing, and changing very quickly. And the question becomes, are we going to continue to lead in aviation? And we're going to look at eVTOLs and drones and supersonic flight. All are radically changing at this moment in time. And the country and the companies that are the greatest innovators are the ones that are going to win. So that's why we're here today. Today we're unveiling the first ever national strategy for advanced air mobility. So this technology, whether it's an electric aircraft or electric vertical takeoff or landing aircraft, it has untold applications. And everyone comes to my office and tells me all the great applications that their vehicle is going to have and how it's going to change the world and how everyone's excited about it, and they are. So it's going to enhance emergency response and improve access for healthcare. It's going to give us different regional mobility. Where we live, where we work can fundamentally change with an eVTOL. Faster cargo operations and last mile delivery will radically change with this technology. And it's going to be easier for aviation training. But America's not the only one that's innovating. Some of our adversaries are chomping at our heels, or we're chomping at their heels. The race is on, and that adversary, for the most part, is China. And if you look at what happened with drones, we ceded drone territory to the Chinese, and now we're playing catch up. We are not going to cede this territory to the Chinese. We are going to lead, and we are going to win because we are going to out-innovate. And so our purpose, create a roadmap to enable this exciting technology. So that's what we're going to do today. Talk about the strategy, which is the 40 recommendations that we are making to support the innovation in this space. And broad concepts, modernizing our airspace so they can handle the increased traffic, building an all-new infrastructure like vertiports, bolstering safety, properly accounting for security concerns so our enemies can't take advantage of this technology and then use it against us, and developing a workforce of the future to support this new industry. So here's the bottom line. America, again, for the fourth time, is going to lead. We led in the past, we are going to lead for the next 100 years. And President Trump has been very clear. He wants to take away, not all of them, but a lot of the rules and regulations that will inhibit the innovators. He wants to set them free. He wants to actually win in America again. And so thanks to his leadership, we are building a brand new air traffic control system, which, by the way, the big beautiful bill gave us $12.5 billion. It's a great first start. We need 20 billion more. So as you go talk to the Hill and mention whatever you're going to talk to the Hill about, if you want to say, by the way, give Duffy 20 extra $billion, I'd appreciate that. Thank you. We're hiring a historic number of air traffic controllers. We've launched a new pilot program to test the real-world applications of AAM aircraft in the field, and we put forward a new rule to expand how drones can be used in the airspace. And finally, we're supporting a return of supersonic flight. All incredibly exciting advancements. And this, I gotta tell you, I couldn't be prouder of our DOT team and our FAA team. They have done remarkable work. And I think that government oftentimes moves too slow. And oftentimes government can be afraid of taking risks. And you always have to manage your risk. But if we just sit in our silos and don't take risk, America loses. We have to let innovation take place. And with innovation, we take risk with that. And we in government can't be afraid of taking that risk. And it has to be managed. It has to be calculated. But we have to allow this technology to develop here. And that's what we're committed to doing. And again, the FAA team, the DOT team have worked tirelessly to make sure that America is the home of this innovation. We're going to build these aircraft here, and we are going to export them around the world with American jobs. What we don't want is those products to be built somewhere else and imported to this country. A lot of problems with that, but one of the main problems is it's a national security risk for this country. I also want to thank the White House OSTP Director, Michael Kratzowitz, who has done a fantastic job supporting this, as well as Brendan Carr from the FCC. He has been a remarkable partner. There he is. He's going to talk to you guys in a little bit. But also, Congressman Mann has been a fierce leader in Congress, making sure that we were able to get to this point today. And what I want to leave you with is, we are looking for the best ideas, how we can improve the rules that we put out, the structure that we give you, all critically important. And what you see under President Trump's leadership, which I think is remarkable, you have a government that's all trying to work together. We're trying to collaborate and coordinate together so you don't have to go to 25 different agencies. We can make one set of rules, and so you can do what you do best, which is create, grow, innovate. And I couldn't be, again, prouder of the team. I couldn't be prouder of President Trump's leadership, unleashing all of us to do bold things. I'm excited for what the future holds. It's exciting. I'm looking forward to today. Thank you all for being here. God bless, and let's win the future.
Thank you, Secretary Duffy. It is now my pleasure and honor to introduce White House Director Michael Kratsios, America's CTO.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Secretary Duffy. Thank you so much for your leadership and your vision as we work to keep America first in flight. U.S. aviation floats on the cusp of a transformation that is going to define flight for decades to come. But today's announcement is about much more than simply the future of flight. It is about the future of American ingenuity, our national competitiveness, and of the way that this country moves its people and goods across the skies safely and efficiently. It is also a completed circle. Back in 2017, in this very room, I helped kick off the UAS Integration Pilot Program, or the IPP. And the IPP opened the new chapter in American aerospace policy in which we are all working today as we continue to advance commercial drone operation. The progress has been incredible, and President Trump's Unleashing American Drone Dominance executive order this past June called for all of us to further accelerate the development, testing, and scaling of U.S. drone technology, including advanced air mobility. So I'm so excited to be back here with you in this room as we write new pages in the story of American aviation. The technologist Peter Thiel once observed that, quote, "we wanted flying cars, instead we got 140 characters." Now, there was a good point there about technological optimism, regulatory stagnation, and the digital revolution. But now we're going to get the flying cars. From commercial supersonics to flying cars, the Trump administration is committed to innovation in aviation across the board. The Advanced Air Mobility National Strategy articulates and reflects the critical importance of this technology. As it continues to mature, AAM will expand access across urban and rural America, bringing the country closer together. It will support and enable new missions in emergency response and medical diagnostics, and in cargo defense and regional mobility. And it will continue to put American workers first, as America's cutting-edge drone and eVTOL industry anchors advanced manufacturing, automation, and digital infrastructure right here in the United States. Now, the success of AAM will further strengthen American leadership and technologies defining the next generation of transportation. The national strategy's integrated approach to airspace infrastructure, security and community engagement, workforce, and automation will drive progress across supply chains, advanced aircraft, education and training, energy systems, and data frameworks. Now, to move from vision to reality, we need mechanisms that operate in the real world. Technological progress and public trust both depend on the opportunity to constantly be testing new capabilities. Innovation succeeds when government creates conditions for experiments and scale rather than for delay. And it is a core principle of the Trump administration's innovation policy that real-world operations generate that data, experience, and confidence needed to modernize all of our policies and regulations. So we have reaffirmed that principle today with the creation of the eVTOL and Advanced Air Mobility Pilot Program, or EIPP. The EIPP will ensure that advanced air operations are not confined to demonstrations or isolated trials, but are integrated safely and lawfully into the national transportation system in a way that can scale for all of us. Bringing together state, local, tribal, and territorial governments with industry partners and federal agencies, the program will demonstrate safe, lawful AAM operations in real environments. Applications for the EIPP close on December 19th, so all of you have 2 days left. But for communities and innovators ready to lead, this is the opportunity to help shape how advanced air mobility is going to be integrated into our national airspace. Advanced air mobility is moving from concept to capability. The national strategy sets that direction, and DOT is charting our course. And the IPP will ensure that the future of flight takes off here in America. So thank you all for your time.
Next, it is my pleasure to introduce the Chairman of the Federal Communications Commission, Brendan Carr.
Well, thank you so much. It is wonderful to join you all here this afternoon. For my part, I'm just glad that Secretary Duffy didn't make us do any pull-ups as a means of getting up onto the stage, principally because I couldn't have done the pull-ups that would have been required. It was pretty impressive, the video that I saw of him doing that. In all seriousness, though, I want to commend Secretary Duffy. You know, President Trump and Secretary Duffy together are unleashing a new golden age of air travel for the country. And one of the most important pieces of that is what we're here today to mark: the unveiling and the release of the National Strategy on Advanced Air Mobility. As Secretary Duffy said, you can go back throughout the country's history to the Wright brothers. Americans were innovating. It was America entrepreneurship that opened up the age of air flight. One of the things that the Wright brothers said was that the desire to fly is something that had been passed down through generations, but it wasn't until them, until America, that it finally came to fruition. Now we're sitting at the dawn of the next generation of flight in this country. And it's going to look very different than today. As the Secretary laid out, we're going to have a range of new and different forms of devices that we're going to use, some autonomous, some not. And it's going to fundamentally change the way we do air travel in the country. At the same time, we have to integrate all those new and emerging technologies and means of transportation with our existing air traffic system. And again, this is an area where Secretary Duffy has been doing some great work to modernize and accelerate the work to get to an entirely new next generation system. Of course, this is efforts that have required coordination and collaboration across multiple different agencies, including the FCC. By last count, I think there's 19 separate agencies that have been involved in getting us to this point here. For the FCC's part, we focus a lot on spectrum and authorizations of spectrum, and it's been wonderful, the working relationship that we've had with the Secretary, the Department, and all the career staff here that have been doing phenomenal work to get us to this point. Of course, in some ways, this is just the kickoff, and this is the start as we all work to implement that. We look forward to continue to work with the Department of Transportation and all the agencies that are involved in this effort to make sure that we deliver on President Trump's vision, on Secretary Duffy's work, and you have my commitment to continue to partner collaboratively with all the agencies as we bring this into fruition and hit the next important milestones in this effort to mend the new and emerging aviation sector with our existing one. And I look forward to the rest of the discussion today. Thanks.
It's now my pleasure to introduce a fantastic partner, my partner in aviation, a gentleman that's been so supportive of the Secretary and the Office of the Secretary of Transportation and my role in it. Someone that has helped us navigate what has been a very challenging year in aviation. FAA Deputy Administrator Chris Rocheleau.
Thank you, Dan. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd start by saying thank you to Secretary Duffy. His continued support throughout this year in advancing aviation and safety has been critical to our collective success. From day one, his vision, his drive, and his support has really made a difference in how we're serving the American public. Also, thanks to Dan and his team at OSTX. I can tell you confidently that we're at this pivotal moment today because of the work of him and his team. So good job, Dan. So, of course, I would have been remiss if not thanking President Trump for his decisive leadership in issuing executive orders that will strengthen American competitiveness in this sector around the globe. The strategy actually accentuates and accelerates innovation, enhances regulatory clarity, and the United States' position around the world. You know, that first flight 122 years ago today succeeded because of American ingenuity and innovation and collaboration. It's that same formula today that makes the United States at the forefront of aviation. Continued partnership between government and industry is essential as we unlock the next chapter of aviation. At the FAA, Administrator Bedford and I remain committed to working closely with industry to ensure safe, scalable, and commercially viable aviation in this technology area. I especially want to thank our industry leaders that are here today, who engaged with us this afternoon at the roundtable. We had an excellent conversation about how we can support each other to create better travel options for the American public. As the Secretary mentioned, we're on the cusp of a major revolution in how people and products move, particularly in places not easily served by surface transportation or existing aviation methods. I'm excited about the things we're already doing at the FAA to accelerate this safe integration into our airspace. As you know, last year, the FAA published the Powered Lift Final Rule, establishing certification standards for pilot and instructors operating powered lift aircraft. This year, we're also starting tangible work at the Center for Advanced Aviation Technologies, or what we call the CAT, in Texas. It will create corridors to allow us to test these aircraft and integrate them into the airspace. And in September, Secretary Duffy announced a new pilot program to accelerate the deployment of these vehicles. The eVTOL pilot program, which we've talked a lot about EIPP, will form public-private partnerships enabling safe operations in everything from short-range air taxis to longer-range fixed-wing aircraft. Now, as you heard, applications for this program are due Friday, close of business, so please submit early and make them a robust application. We plan to announce the winners, the participants in this program, springtime next year, so stay tuned. We're also working closely, this is very important, with our global counterparts to safely bring advanced air mobility into the market, driving standards and practices at ICAO, and working closely with our regional partners. In fact, at the Paris Air Show earlier this year, Secretary Duffy and I announced a National Aviation Authority's roadmap. It's a crucial path forward to ensure certification and validation with like-minded countries. When you think about bringing this technology into the system, we're going to need to make sure that they can operate overseas, and our relationships with our counterparts overseas is particularly important to this success. I'll sum it up all like this. Together, we are transforming the aviation ecosystem and building a future where advanced air mobility is no longer just a concept, but a cornerstone of American innovation. At the FAA, we're very proud to lead the way safely. Thank you.
And now from the great state of Kansas, a great partner of the Department of Transportation and for Aviation, Congressman Tracy Mann.
Well, thank you, Dan, and thank you, Secretary Duffy, for inviting me to join you all here today and for everything you're doing, Mr. Secretary, to maintain America as a gold standard for aviation around the world. Thanks also for visiting my home state of Kansas a few days ago. I represent the 1st District of Kansas, which is one of the most rural districts in the country. It also happens to be the exact geographic center of America. Kansas is known as the air capital of the world. We have a long history with the aviation industry, beginning in 1916, when an upstart entrepreneur named Clyde Cessna signed a contract to start manufacturing planes in Kansas, 1916. Over time, our state has become a pioneer in the industry, leading the world in innovation and development when it comes to aviation manufacturing and becoming home to some of the biggest names in the manufacturing industry. Kansas is also home to several industry-aligned education and research institutions that are leading the way in the most critical areas of aviation and aerospace technology and manufacturing. They're focused on advanced air mobility, autonomous systems, maintenance, and manufacturing are crucial in developing a talented pipeline for the workforce and in keeping the United States at the forefront of innovation and adaptation of advanced air mobility. That focus and development will be strengthened by the implementation of the Advanced Air Mobility Coordination and Leadership Act that we got passed through Congress. Advanced air mobility will be life-changing for communities like the ones I represent as we aim to move people and cargo between local, regional, intra-regional, and urban locations that are underserved by traditional aviation. These vehicles will improve the connectivity of rural and urban communities and the way that we deliver services and aid to people in these areas, all while delivering faster and safer forms of transportation options. By inviting the civil aviation industry to work and engage with government agencies, we have a firsthand perspective to ensure that we get the policy side right as advanced air mobility continues to develop. This new area of aviation will be defined by innovation. The leaders spearheading that innovation deserve to be part of the conversation as the government looks to advance this technology and implement safety and operation standards. So again, thank you, Mr. Secretary, and I commend you for launching the National Strategy for Advanced Air Mobility. And quick perspective, it's amazing how things have changed. I'm from Kansas. My great-grandmother came to Kansas on a covered wagon and lived long enough to see man land on the moon. Think about the era that they saw, but then also think about the opportunity and the era that we will get to see as aviation continues to touch each and every one of our individual lives every day. So thank you for having me, and let's make this a great future. Thank you.
So nothing goes well without the support of industry and advocates that make it very clear to us where we need to focus our attention. So it's my honor today to have three of those gentlemen with us today. If you would please join me on the stage. Here today with us is Gamma President and CEO James Viola. NBAA Advanced Air Mobility Roundtable Chairman Matt Bird. And VII President and CEO Francois LaSalle.
Good afternoon. I'm James Viola, the President and CEO of General Aviation Manufacturers Association, and it's a wonderful day. It was great to spend about 45 minutes with other leaders of the industry and the great things that are going to happen in the near future. Something that's been coming from 10 years ago in my days in the FAA. So I wanted to take the time today to applaud the hard work that all of the AAM interagency working group is putting into this national strategy and the comprehensive plan. It's bringing all of the government together. I especially want to thank Senator Moran and Representative Davids for championing the bipartisan bill that led to the creation of the working group and the strategic plan and getting it through Congress. I would also like to thank Secretary Duffy, Deputy Assistant Dan Edwards, and Peter Irvine, and the entire interagency group that actually put in the hard work that now gets this document out so that we can all use it. This strategy will ensure that the U.S. will be a global leader in the AAM through its integration into the national airspace system. And when we talk about the modernization that's going on with ATC and making sure that it's ready to get the additional capacity that these vehicles need, expanding the security and safety and the automation, and furthering community planning and engagement, some of the topics that were just mentioned. The growth of the AAM sector will also facilitate additional transportation options. It will create jobs. It will stimulate the economy actively and competitiveness, and further foster the advancement of the aerospace technology. GAMA and its members stand ready to support these efforts and further facilitate the growth of AAM in the United States and worldwide. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Duffy, Deputy Assistant Edwards, Director Kratsios, Chairman Carr, Deputy Administrator Rocheleau, Chris, Congressman Mann, and our partners across government and industry. I'm honored to be here today on the 122nd anniversary of that amazing flight, and I'm filled with inspiration because of knowing the indomitable spirit, the American spirit and determination that fueled that is at work today, and we're going to lead. We thought it was impossible, but it unites us today behind DOT's vision for the next revolution in aviation, one that will redefine on-demand air mobility. I'm encouraged also because 97 years ago, my great uncle Admiral Byrd flew an airplane and discovered the South Pole. The spirit that brought that together is here today. So on behalf of the National Business Aviation Association and the Advanced Air Mobility Roundtable, I want to thank Congress for directing this plan, the Department of Transportation for delivering the national strategy, coordinated across 25 federal agencies that blazes a path forward for the safe integration of advanced air mobility into the national airspace system. What's most powerful about this plan is not just the vision that it sets beyond 2035, but the message that it sends that the United States intends to lead the world in manufacturing and deployment of AAM. Industry stands ready to partner with the DOT, FAA, states, local communities to move from demonstrations to durable operations, leveraging existing infrastructure, a strong domestic supply chain, and modernized air traffic control system. NBAA and our AAM Roundtable look forward to helping to ensure this bold vision takes flight for Americans across the country and throughout the world. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. It's fantastic to be here and great to see all of you. And I wanted to open by obviously thanking Secretary Duffy and all of our esteemed colleagues across all of the agencies who make this possible. Thank you. Thank you for your leadership, for convening us all at this pivotal moment of American aviation. My name is Francois Lassalle. I'm the President and CEO of Vertical Aviation International. And VAI represents the entire vertical lift ecosystem, which includes helicopters, drones, and advanced air mobility. A continuum of technologies that share the same operational DNA and together form America's present and future vertical lift aviation system. For 76 years, VAI and our members have supported and enabled vertical lift. From the airspace, infrastructure, safety systems, and skilled workforce that AAM will rely on, and which is being built today by our community. We appreciate this administration's leadership in advancing American ingenuity, and we strongly support the National Strategy for Advanced Air Mobility, which provides a clear, coordinated vision to integrate new aviation capabilities safely and responsibly. Our members deliver real benefits for Americans every day: life-saving medical transport, emergency response, rural connectivity, and high-skilled jobs, while laying the foundation for the next generation of air mobility. As the trade association bridging proven operations, and emerging technologies, VAI stands ready to partner with the Department of Transportation to implement the strategy and ensure the United States leads the world in advanced air mobility. Thank you.
Okay, we're nearing the end of the program, and so I have a story to share. So when Secretary Duffy asked me to MC this event, I was a little concerned because the last MC for an event in this space was just a couple of weeks ago. It was for the kickoff of the FIFA World Cup, and Kobe Jones was up here doing the MC gig. So there is no way I could live up to being a multi-time World Cup athlete, world-famous soccer player. So I just got to do what I know how to do, and that's talk about aviation. So the prop is I'm wearing an Air Force flight jacket. And to be perfectly honest with you, this is not mine. Although I have one just like it, I chose to wear my brother's today. My brother Doug was a career Air Force pilot, and I chose to wear his today because this jacket has been on 6 continents. Mine hadn't been on that many. And the only one he wasn't on was in South America. So yes, this thing has flown to the South Pole. And I'm reminded of how hot it is to wear one of these right now. And this one still smells like jet fuel. So anxious to get the day done for no other reason than that. When things are going well in an airplane, I would say flying a plane's a little bit like riding a bike in many ways. But in no scenario in my mind is building a bike like building an airplane. It takes a special DNA, it takes imagination, it takes bravery, and it takes perseverance. And I'm just wondering if the Wright brothers look at us today and imagine that this flight jacket would have flown over the South Pole in an aircraft that they helped invent, where they had the DNA. And when I talk about vision and innovation and ingenuity, I'll bet you they did imagine it. I'll bet you they said, we're doing something, this is gonna be amazing. And one day somebody's gonna be flying these things around the world. It's gonna change the way we live and the way we work. So innovation is about perseverance. It's about imagination. It's about having vision. And I want to honor those of us that are in this audience, the ones that I just met with, in the round table. And I want to offer my sincere thanks and appreciation for all you do to bring the industry to the next step. It's been about 80 years since we as an industry, regulators, introduced a new aircraft type, helicopter. AAM represents, to me, that next leap. And what we're doing here today is so important and will have such an impact. And the documents that I have here with me, the strategic plan and how to implement it. There's 2 pieces to this, and both are vitally important. And for what it represents me now in government service, these 2 things represent all of you being able to hold us accountable for what we've signed up for here. So that's the intent of these. It's not only to set the roadmap and to set the how-to, but also for all of you to measure us on how we're progressing on making sure that regulation moves in lockstep with technology and get advanced air mobility going. So I guess what I'll close with is I'd like to be mindful if we fast forward 80 years. What will those that are in this room look back at us and what we did today, and will they be thankful and appreciative? And my answer is yes, and it's our job to make sure that that's the case. Thank you for your time, and thank you for attending this amazing event. Have a good day.